You made it to week 3. Create copy and content that inspires, engages, and sells. This is lesson 1, the fundamentals of excellent copywriting. Now, this week, we're working on your copywriting skills, which is a key ingredient in your marketing. And we'll also discuss how content planning can increase your effectiveness and decrease your anxiety around marketing this week as well, because copy and content go hand in hand. But this lesson is all about the copy. Copywriting is a key ingredient on your website. It's both public-facing on the front of your site that people read and in your search engine optimization, which we talked about a little bit last week. It is in your email marketing, copies in your social media marketing, your paid digital ads. It's even in descriptions on videos on YouTube and Vimeo. So even your video content requires copywriting from you in some way. Now, good copywriting goes beyond good grammar. So if you're someone who has a little trouble with sentence structure, grammar, or spelling, there are many, many tools out there that can help you with those things. What I want to talk about is really what makes marketing copy successful. And I think there are really 6 key things. So you need your copywriting to be compelling and actionable if you're going to attract the audience and money you deserve. And these 6 things, if you check them off while you write your copy, you're going to be golden. So the first 3 keys to successful marketing copy are that the copy must be clear, concise, and conversational. It should also be simple, scannable, and purposeful. So, number 1, copy should be clear. On your website, let's talk about this example. A client or a potential client should always know where they are, what they can do on your site, and why they should care. And this is clarity at work. If they don't know these things, you are not being clear in your copy to them. I want to go over a quick example of how clarity trumps cleverness and creativity, but you don't have to lose creativity in order to remain clear. So I was thinking of a fake example, a company that fixes broken phones, right? Now, if you saw an ad in, Google and it said, "We fix broken phones," that's clear. You know exactly what that company does. You know how they can help you. If you have just Googled that you're looking how to fix your broken phone, this is going to come up because it's perfect for you, and they've probably put a little money behind it. And look, there you go. You will click on it. You know that they can help you. You just want to learn, what does it cost? Where are they located? How can you do it as quickly as possible? But you might also click on this, right? Drop your phone in the toilet again, which means, haha, it's broken. Now, this one's funnier, but it also keeps what you're offering at the forefront. So you know that it's about a broken phone. A phone in the toilet is never a phone that's okay. And it might connect with you more if you are of a certain generation who has done this a couple times. Maybe you're a millennial, you always have your phone in the bathroom, and whoops, it happens. And it might actually make you click more than the first one because it has that humor behind it. It makes you chuckle a little bit. You want to know what this company is about and give them your business. But we can take that humor and that trying to be clever too far, to the point where it's just not effective. Having trouble with your selfie machine? Now, you've lost all clarity on what the thing is here, a phone that we can help with. So if you're calling the product itself the service itself a selfie machine or something clever that you think is funny and smart, but that isn't something that's used widely, you're really going to lose your potential customer. Number 2, copy should be concise. Keeping copy short and sweet is super important for getting your message across in a digital landscape, especially. Ways to do this. Don't provide more detail than you actually need. Keep single paragraphs to a single thought. Avoid overloading your writing with adverbs or adjectives or flowery language that describes it. A good practice is to write something, then edit it and cut it entirely in half. If you're writing something that should be particularly short, like ad copy or a headline, go ahead and edit it a second time if you still need to shorten it and cut it in half again. And there's a really good reason behind why you should be making things as short and concise as possible, especially when writing for the online audience. In Time magazine a couple years ago, so this may have even gotten worse, they said that the average attention span for the notoriously ill-focused goldfish is 9 seconds. But according to a study from Microsoft, people now generally lose concentration after 8 seconds, which means that the way that we have all interacted with technology over the past decade has made our attention spans as humans even shorter than a goldfish. So you only have 8 seconds, if that, to get someone's attention. You want to make your copy as short as possible so that they read it, they get it, they connect, and then they move on to whatever else it is that they're going to move on from. Number 3, copy should be conversational. Keeping your copy conversational makes people feel more connected to you and can help you reduce the length a bit, and I'll talk about that. So some easy ways to update your language anywhere that you have it to make it more conversational are to use contractions. So instead of saying do not, change that to don't. To reduce or eliminate jargon. If you feel that you are speaking in terms that only your colleagues will understand and not your potential client, there is a problem there. Make sure that your words and your language connect to real humans on the other side of that screen. And to use active voice instead of passive voice to make sure that it doesn't sound like things are happening to you, but that you are offering a service more actively. Another way to really make sure that your copy is conversational is to literally read it out loud, even just to yourself. But it does help if there's someone else in the room and you can test your copy on them and you can read it straight to them. When you read something out loud, word for word, you start to realize, especially if you know the subject matter well, which you will because you've been writing about it, you'll start to realize that there are some places where it just doesn't feel natural to say it out loud. And if that's the case, star that place, come back to it later, and rewrite it as you would say to a friend or to your mom. Because if you're writing in a way that feels unnatural to say out loud, it's probably unnatural to your reader as well. And it's probably longer than it should be, frankly. Number 4, copy should be simple. So we're creatives here. We like to create. We're business owners. We like to create something from nothing. We have the ability to create something from nothing. And sometimes the amount and size of our ideas can be overwhelming. And that comes across on the page, on and in our writing. But we should always aim for simplifying, keeping things more simple than they are maybe in our own brains. So you want to be asking yourself when you're writing anything, what is the heart of the matter here? There's a resource, a blog called Very Good Copy that you should definitely look up if you struggle with copywriting or want more examples or ideas. I really like their blog a lot. One of their blogs had this particular passage that I thought was really helpful to illustrate this point. Copywriters are problem solvers. The problem might be the prospect will only buy X when he feels Y. And the solution then is to write a message that reliably makes prospects feel Y, because then they'll buy X. This is a copywriter's true work, identifying words that create the shortest path to an emotion, a feeling. But sometimes that path is so short, it gives the copywriter pause. It makes the copywriter think it can't be this simple. It makes her think, I need to add something fresh and original, some pizzazz. I see this happen a lot, where you get to the heart of the matter, you've written something clear and concise and simple, it's very easy to understand, and it just feels too easy. It doesn't feel creative enough, it doesn't feel you enough, whatever it is. But let me tell you, you do not need that pizzazz. You just did your job simply and elegantly. Do not overthink your copy, don't overanalyze. Don't over edit. Yes, edit for concision, but don't over edit again and again and again, trying to make something more complicated than it is. You may have just nailed it. I want to just share something that I think is a helpful example from my own website that is conversational, that is concise, that's clear, and that's simple. It gets to the heart of the matter, right? So this is from a page where I'm selling my own web copywriting skills. And I say, your insider knowledge of your company can actually block you from writing great copy. Too much, here's what we do and we're fabulous, and not enough, here's what you get from engaging with us. My first step is to take into consideration what your ideal client consumer audience wants to know. My next step is to speak in their language. Let's get started. So you can see here, I am addressing the fears or challenges of my ideal audience. My ideal client just knows too much. They're too close to their company. They're not writing with a way that connects to their audience. I'm telling them what my approach is, that it's really just simply as bare bones as it can get, 2 steps. I research your audience, I get to know them, and then I speak in their language. And it's also conversational. Instead of saying, there's too many words on the page or there's too much of this particular jargon or whatever it is, I use a little bit more conversational language by saying there's too much, here's what we do and we're fabulous, and not enough, here's what you get from engaging with us. That's how I would talk about it to a potential client on the phone. So that's what I wrote down on the website page. Here's another scary stat for you. According to research performed by the Nielsen Group, only 16% of people online read word by word. Just about everyone else is a scanner, picking text apart for the bits that are valuable to them. And I bet even when you looked at this slide, you started scanning this short paragraph. It's just how we're built. We are now decades into using technology in very different ways than generations before us, and our attention spans are just different. Our ability to really focus on a long form article is just different. We all have been taught by our interaction with technology to scan and get the information that we need as quickly as possible. I'm not saying this is a good thing, but I'm saying that it's real. So the number 5 thing is that your copy should be scannable. Keep paragraphs short. So even if you feel like something is a grammatically correct paragraph, maybe it's 3 sentences long and it is about 7 lines on a page, you're going to want to shorten that. You're going to want to chunk it up, maybe have 2 top sentences and put the 3rd one on a next space. You need white space and visual breaks for people to understand what you're saying. You can also use headers subheadlines to break up copy on the page. We talked about this in a web context before, right? And it's super important, so I'm saying it again in our copywriting. You should be writing in order to incorporate more headlines, more call-out text, and things that break up the text visually. And make use of bulleted lists or numbered lists whenever possible, because this is a lot easier to read when it's in bullet form than when it's in paragraph form. Make use of repetition too. If you have a specific call to action on that page, have it several times. Don't wait till the very bottom of the page, particularly if someone is scanning and the call to action comes at the top. They may be scanning so quickly that they miss it to begin with, and they need another chance to take that action at the bottom. Don't be afraid to repeat calls to action, particularly across a piece of web writing. Now, I wanted to show you an example of taking this scannability idea and putting it somewhere completely different so that you're not thinking that all of these things only apply to the copywriting on your website. It also applies to the way that you engage on social media. So I use my Instagram as kind of a mini blog space, and I write longer captions on most of my Instagram posts. This is an example of one. The caption actually goes even longer beyond this, but I couldn't get it in the screenshot. But when you're looking at this copy, I've made it at least easy to scan. So even though it's longer, I've added visual breaks by adding this little underscore line so that I can make paragraphs in Instagram. I've added a numbered list in emojis so that people could easily get those 3-point checklists as soon as they're just looking and scanning this copy. I try to make things as simple as possible to read in a digital space, even when I'm not on my website, when I'm elsewhere, just breaking it up as much as I can. Now, to the 6th point, if copy isn't compelling, it's not going to sell what it is that you do. So the most important rule of all of these 6 in copywriting is to write with a purpose. You can be all of those other things. You can be simple, you can be scannable, you can be concise, you can be clear, and have a well-written web page or a well-written Facebook post or a well-written Instagram ad. But you still may not see results unless you're thinking about that writing's purpose. So what does that mean? Purposeful copy means people will take action. It is there for a reason. So what I like to do when I write is I write from most important to least important. I start with the conclusion, what I want people to know, what my goal is for that particular piece of copywriting, and then I work backwards from there. This also has the added benefit of making your copy more scannable because you're getting straight to the point at the top of the page or the top of the post. Prove you're not wasting anyone's time. Get to the point right away. Make sure that you're very clear about the purpose of what it is you're writing, what it is you're saying, and they'll stick with you for more of the storytelling underneath. When you're writing for the web, you are trying to provoke action. If you're creating an email opt-in or writing a Facebook ad, you want someone to give their information or click. So always ask yourself, does this copy inspire action? This is the copy that's on the very top of our client Christopher Duggan's wedding photography website. Your wedding photos are stories that last forever. Christopher Duggan Photography makes beautiful wedding photos and video in New York, the Berkshires, and destinations anywhere. More than that, we preserve your most important family memories for generations. Ask about your wedding date. So the purpose here is to tell you exactly where we work, what we do, and also connect on a more emotional level about how important wedding photography is to a family legacy, and to get you straight to our inquire page as fast as possible. So if you came here looking to inquire about your wedding date, you can hit this inquire button up here, or you can go right here from the homepage, ask about your wedding date, and that that particular call to action is very specific. You know you're going to be asking about your day. Knowing your audience's pain points, desires, and challenges, and fears, and hopes, and dreams, all of those things will help you craft compelling copy that actually converts. So always ask yourself, does my copy inspire action? How am I highlighting the exclusivity or the attractiveness of my offer? The importance of their participation also increases your chances of conversion. So if it's something that's less about what will help them and more about what will help others, how their support or donation might help others, the importance of that is what you should focus on. So you want to create some kind of urgency or level of importance and priority that helps someone act. Urgency helps someone act even faster because it forces them to make a decision and draws on the emotion that they may be left out. Your job here is to emotionally connect with the reader so they want to take action. Because if you've attracted the right person to whatever it is you've attracted them to, your social post, your web page, your donate, campaign, whatever it is that you've attracted them to, if you've done your research and you've connected to the right people, they should want to take action. Help them feel that way. So you can even tailor your calls to action to spark quicker action. Instead of saying buy tickets, you might say get the best seats. Now, this is only to be used if the best seats are going to be snagged soon and you know it, and this will help people act with more urgency if they do want those best seats. And it should be replaced if the best seats are already taken. But you'll see here, this is the Wing. It's a co-working space that I belong to here in New York. All of the calls to action, all of the links and buttons on this page are very clearly stating what you will learn, what you will know if you follow them. So this is just a quick, 3 examples on the page, 3 places where they're trying to send you to learn more about their co-working spaces. If you want to know more about the story, learn more about us, very clear. Why the Wing, see benefits, very clear. Become a member, explore membership. So then I know I'm going to see about the membership plans and levels if I click here. Now, none of these say just learn more, read more, buy now. And you can see that it's more compelling because it's just clearer, more purposeful language telling me exactly where I'm going to go. Confidence will also help you to sell, help you feel purposeful in your copy. So don't equivocate, commit to your ideas, and don't soften or generalize what you're saying. State whatever it is proudly, confidently, and that purpose is going to come across to your reader. So in this lesson, we learned there's more to good writing than good grammar. At the end of the day, the clarity, simplicity, and purpose of your message are more important than your sentence structure. Grammar guides and tools can help you with spelling or grammar, but the quality of your writing will increase significantly if you check for these 6 things every time you write something important. So join me in the next lesson. We'll talk through how copywriting for the web differs from copywriting for anywhere else and how to adapt to that landscape that you're writing for really successfully.